Today we have a masterclass on how to look like an absolute moron. It's actually pretty simple. All you need to do is open your mouth about something you don't know the first thing about. Case in point.
Now, what do I believe? I believe in anarcho-capitalism. That's a system based completely on capitalism with no government whatsoever.
Do you seriously think that corporations are going to behave ethically if they're not regulated?
Oh, we don't think. We know. Because without mommy government to come save the day and bail them out, they'll be at the mercy of their consumers. They'll have no choice but to behave ethically.
That is fucking insane. What's even more absurd is that you actually want corporations to control everything. Oh, well, not everything. Only things that don't break the non-aggression principle.
No, just every good in service that's provided.
The non-aggression principle is fucking bullshit.
I know, right? It's so fucking bullshit. These people actually think it's wrong for other people to use violence, force, or coercion against other people or their property. Such a bunch of fucking bullshit, am I right?
You can do something that harms other people without there being an immediate victim. It technically does not violate the non-aggression principle to poison food and sell it, because, you know, it was their choice to fucking buy it, right?
Wrong.
There's nothing technical about it. That absolutely violates the non-aggression principle. It's poison. They added it to the food with the intent of harming someone. And what's more, they deceived people by not telling them that it was in the food before they bought it.
And of course, it doesn't include children or animals, because they're fucking property, and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, now I seriously need you to cite your sources here, because I don't know any libertarian that says children are not protected under the non-aggression principle. And as for pets, everybody loves pets, for the most part. I don't know anyone that would just stand idly by and let someone beat their dog.
I mean, come on. Beat your kids, whatever, you know, you're not breaking the non-aggression principle.
Sorry guys, I have to interject here. You say that statists are perfectly fine. The people that use violence to solve all their problems. Every time their child is bad, they spank them, they punish them. That's perfectly fine. The people that are spank crazy, those people are perfectly fine to you. But the people who give up aggression, the ANCAPs like Stephen Molyneux and others that say that spanking is the worst thing you could do for a child, those are the people that are gonna freaking beat their kids. That's freaking ridiculous. You literally got a room full of Vikings, and on the other side of the room, you got hippies. You sit there and say, oh, those Vikings, they're perfectly A-okay. Using violence to dominate people's A-okay. But those hippies, man, the ones that gave up aggression, they're totally too violent. They're gonna beat the shit out of their kids. Won't somebody think of the children? Give me a fucking break.
So, yeah, the government has no domain. Do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares if you're affecting people? Who cares about the well-being of others? All that matters is that what you're doing is not causing immediate harm.
No, there's nothing immediate about it. The nap prevents harm. Period.
To an adult human being. Without government, if you don't have the money to pay for medical treatment, your life is fucking worthless.
Competition will be at an all-time high, and all corporations will be at the mercy of their consumers. And deregulation will lower manufacturing costs, which means at the end of the day, prices will be lower in general. And in a world with no government, you're not paying taxes on anything, so now you're making almost twice what you're making now. Buy medical insurance. Boom. Problem solved.
It is just sickening how these retards...
Oh, they're retards. Are they also freaking gaywads?
Put the freedom to amass huge amounts of wealth, more than they can spend in a fucking lifetime, while other people are dying of preventable diseases.
Yeah, so what we really need to do is call the government to bring in the guys with the guns to steal money from the rich, because that's morally okay because they're dying. In the same vein, it's also okay if I'm bleeding out that I hire someone to kidnap someone else, club them over the head, and draw blood from them without their consent, because I'm dying. It's okay.
It's even worse for children. Okay, small children that are not capable of earning money. What if their parents don't want to pay for their medical treatment? What if they don't want to pay for their food? What if they fucking can't?
I've already demonstrated earlier why there's almost no way that they couldn't do it, and if they don't want to, then you care about them, I care about them. I'm pretty sure in Ancapistan enough people are going to care about them to have a few adoption centers floating around there. And I really pity you if you are so cynical you honestly believe people are so morally bankrupt they need a government to teach them that it's not okay to starve your children. Because we live in a society with police and government now, but if I found out my neighbors were abusing their children, I'd step in and do something about it. Fuck waiting for the police and legal system to kick in.
Oh yeah, they fucking die. Because no one gives a shit. What about animal abuse? What if you torture a dog? You know, dogs are your property. They don't have rights. So you know, you're not breaking the fucking non-aggression principle. You can starve them to death, do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, you do know that in the US animals don't have rights, right? So, in order to protect them from people who abuse and starve them, they rely on the exact same thing that they would rely on in Ancapistan. People caring about them enough to the point where they would step in and do something if they found out that other people were abusing their animals. And in today's society, yes, animals are property. Live with it.
Don't you see the problem here?
There is no problem, because whether or not beating your animals violates the NAP, which it does, people will step in and do something about it.
And if you don't, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Now, here's a common misconception. Everybody that hears about anarcho-capitalists, they think we want to get rid of police. No, we want to privatize police. We want the free market to handle it. We think competition will lead to better policing and cheaper prices.
Who is paying for the police? Who is the fucking consumer?
Alright, time to set up an apartment complex in Ancapistan. But you know what? It's a free market paradise, so I'm gonna be fucked if I can't draw customers. Oh, I've got it! I'll use their rent money to pay the salary of a private security team that will patrol the premises 24/7, thus making them more effective than police that would have to have a 15-minute response time.
If you hire security guards to police your property, they would not arrest you for breaking the non-aggression principle. They are being paid by you. If you drag people onto your fucking property and torture them, the private police aren't gonna do shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is your version of Ancapistan, where somehow all common decency and all compassion for our fellow human has completely mysteriously evaporated. Because if I was a security guard in Ancapistan, I would say, oh well, that guy did just drag an innocent little girl into his house and he's now raping and torturing her, but I mean, he is paying my salary, so it's not like I have any reason to do anything about it. I'm sure that 4-year-old deserved it somehow.
What if someone kills your security guards, huh? What are you gonna fucking do then?
Thanks to deregulation, automatic weapons are going to be back in production and at cheaper prices. You're going to kill an entire squad of fully armed security guards with body armor and fully automatic weapons. Yeah, color me skeptical on that one.
Do you actually think that the private police would defend someone who's not fucking paying them? They would risk their lives for no reason? Really? No, it wouldn't fucking happen.
Okay, so, here's what I want you to do, buddy. Go to a mall or something similar to a mall and try to mug someone in front of a security guard. Because by your logic, that security guard shouldn't do a fucking thing about it because the person you're mugging isn't paying his contract or his salary.
Yeah, it's so weird. I've been getting a lot of response videos lately where people don't understand how private security works. There's been at least 6. They literally think that everybody has to pay private security for private security to protect them. No, one person pays the private security, not everybody. Like the business, for example, will pay the private security to protect everybody. Not everybody that comes to the mall pays private security to protect them. The person that owns the mall, they pay for security. The people that come to the homes or businesses that are being protected by private security, they get the service for free. It's a free service provided by the business or homeowners association. For the most part, people that are being protected don't pay anything. I understood this shit before I was 10 years old, okay? But I've been getting adults who do not comprehend this fucking concept.
If you kill actual police, more are fucking coming.
If you kill actual private security, their nearest station will be notified and more are fucking coming.
If you kill cops, you get the SWAT team. If you kill the SWAT team, you get the fucking military in an ANCAP system with fucking security guards. That would not fucking happen.
If you kill a squad of private security, you get a platoon of private security. If you kill the platoon of private security, you get a battalion of private security.
Also, in Kapistan, there would be private military. There would also be militias, okay? People always say, oh, well, what if there's a warlord? Or what if a business tries to take over? Okay, imagine Kapistan was the United States of America. They literally have 320 million people and 500 million unregistered guns. I think up to 320 million people in a militia is pretty scary for most criminals and most people that would want to take over. Compare that to the military that we have today in the United States of America, which is like 2 million. What do you think is scarier to people and criminals? 320 million armed people or 2 million military? It's comparable. And also on top of that, Kapistan will have a military that's funded too. So not only will Kapistan have better private police, remember the cost of one police officer, you could get 8 personal private security officers. So private market made freaking security 8 times more effective than the government. Imagine what it could do to the military, man. At the very least, it will be 2 times better and 2 times more effective. At the very least. Everybody's able to join a militia, okay? So they're able to get fully automatic guns and fucking body armor. And they outnumber the criminals like 320 million to 1. People keep saying, oh, Kapistan is not as safe as government. It's safer! You literally get 8 times more private security for your money in Kapistan. You are safer. The military are 2 times better. The militia is 2 times better armed and 2 times better funded. If you say Kapistan is going to be taken over by companies or warlords, you are delusional. Because that shit doesn't even happen today, and we would be safer than we are today. Look what happened when this town used private security to secure their neighborhood.
He looks and sounds like a cop.
At least it's quiet today.
And he and his fellow officers are certainly armed like cops, complete with canines. And when most people hear private security, what do they think?
They think mall cop.
No mall cops here. They are security officers with SEAL security, and they've been under contract with the subdivision since November.
We actually patrol districts and subdivisions like this one, give them a little bit more security for their money.
The Civic Association used to contract with the constable's office for a deputy to patrol the area. But now that it's gone with SEAL security, it has anywhere from 3 to 4 officers patrolling the streets at any given time and at half the cost. Also cut in half, the number of burglaries. The average monthly number last year.
At about 20 per month.
And in February?
11.
Wow.
So big change.
So apparently, because 4 private cops are better than 1 regular cop, private cops are better?
If you're gonna make a response video, you should actually take in the information that's presented to you first. The entire town is run by private security.
If they had 4 fucking state police, the crime rate would have been the same. What we actually can observe is that 4 cops are better than 1. No fucking shit.
Okay, I can't believe I've had to explain this to as many people as I have recently. Listen to this very carefully. Look, if 1 police officer securing the area is 2 times more expensive than 4 private security securing the area, then if you do simple math, you can see you can get 8 private security officers for the price of 1 normal police officer. Every idiot who watches this private security news clip always say, well, in this clip, there's only 1 police officer securing the area. Of course, when they switch to private security and get 4 private security instead of 1 police officer, of course the crime goes down. And people who see this clip often suggest the most moronic thing ever. They suggest that private security don't make you more safer because you can simply get as many police officers as you do private security and the police force would be just as effective. Yeah, I guess that's true, but you have to assume protection is absolutely free and these officers and security are just slaves and don't get paid a cent for their services. The freaking reality is protection costs money, and no matter how much the business or person has to spend on protection, which is always going to be a limited amount, they would always get 8 times more personnel and 8 times more protection if they went with private security. Idiots keep suggesting the same idiotic thing over and over. They can spend 8 times more and get the same protection with normal police. Yeah, but they're literally throwing an epic crap ton of money away for no reason. Not only that, if they switch to private security, they could literally get 8 times more protection for that same amount of money. No matter the amount of money you have, private security offers 8 times more protection for what you'd be paying for normal police.
We don't know because you have a fucking confirmation bias and what you say is bullshit.
Oh, sweet, delicious irony. You have a confirmation bias because you completely ignored what the clip said about the whole town being covered by private security and you only heard what you wanted to hear.
Mr. Strawman, give me a break.
They think we want to get rid of courts. No, we just want to privatize courts. We think the government's fucking courts up. We think competition would lead to better court systems, much like it leads to better policing.
No, you fucking dunce! Competition will lead to more corrupt courts.
What? Please explain to me how that works.
If the one paying for the court is the alleged victim, then the judge is obviously going to rule in their fucking favor.
Oh, right, I forgot. This is your version of Ancapistan. And for some reason, the population in your mind would be completely okay with someone being tried in court by his own personal judge.
Do you think people want fair courts? No, you fucking dunce. They want corrupt courts. They're paying for it.
Well, this is just me personally, but I know I want fair courts, and I know a few other people want fair courts, just like 99% of the population of the United States of America.
They want to get their way.
Then your next question is, well, who will create the law? There's something called natural law. It's basically the shit you see in the Constitution. Private courts would simply enforce that.
Under the non-aggression principle, you are totally free to do whatever the fuck you want unless it directly hurts someone. Can't you see how this is bullshit? It does not directly hurt anyone if you put meth in fucking cereal.
Meth is incredibly expensive to make, so it's not like it just appeared there magically, which means you put it there with the intention of harming someone else, and you further deceived people by not telling them that it was in there before they bought it. That absolutely violates the NAP. Try again.
Because it's their choice to buy it. It does not violate the non-aggression principle to build bombs.
To just build bombs? No. Why do you think America has 4.3 thousand nukes?
Or drive drunk.
Holy shit, I'm starting to feel like a broken record here. When you drive drunk, you are endangering other people's lives, meaning you are violating the non-aggression principle.
You are totally free to take fucking angel dust and carry a machine gun around. Because as long as you don't hurt someone, it's fine.
Are you fucking stupid? Dude, you just refuted your own argument. If you don't hurt anybody, there has not been a crime committed. I don't know where you live, but here in America, you're allowed to get a concealed carry permit. So I could walk around with my concealed weapon after snorting 3 lines of angel dust. As long as I don't hurt anybody, what's the fucking problem?
Shit, not just concealed carry, you could do that with an AK-47 or an AR-15. You could have that strapped to you in a lot of states and just walk around like nothing. If you're not hurting anybody, who gives a shit? But I understand where you're coming from. It makes you uncomfortable to see that. So are we allowed to ban things that we find uncomfortable? Where do we draw the line? Who draws that line? Fat people at the beach make me uncomfortable. Does that mean I get to ban them? Sorry, buddy, you can't ban people just because they make you uncomfortable. If they're not hurting anybody, they're fucking golden. And if they do start hurting people, you could defend yourself against these people. You could kill them. What else could you ask for, dude?
You know, it doesn't matter how much of a danger you are to society. No. It just matters that you're directly impacting someone.
You're not talking about people being a danger. You're talking about people doing things that you find distasteful and things that make you uncomfortable. There's a difference. You're acting like doing drugs is gonna make them more dangerous to you. I know people who have done drugs, every drug imaginable, and they did them their entire lives. And do you know how many people they've endangered and hurt and killed? 0!
Okay, let's say I'm a full-blown cokehead and I'm a complete gun nut. I snort 3 pounds of coke every day before wandering the streets for 14 hours carrying my machine gun. If I've never hurt anyone in my life for years of doing that, how much of a danger to society can I possibly be?
Your next thing might be, well, private courts will lead to corruption. Those private courts will be owned by companies. If those companies are corrupt and they're not fair, the people that are exploited by those companies, those private courts, will go and tell the media. And the media would make a fuck ton of money exposing that private court for being corrupt.
Why do you think that people don't want the courts to be corrupt? It's pretty fucking obvious that if I'm paying for something, I want to get what I want. And if I want someone to be put in fucking prison, then yeah, I'll pay for it. Anyone would.
Okay, so let's assume you're right. The 1% of the population that owns all the private courts wants them to be corrupt. The 99% that actually has to be tried by those courts still want them to be corruption-free. 1% of the population versus 99% of the population. Guess who's gonna win that battle?
If you don't ban corruption, people will be exploited.
Alright, today's society, there's government and there's law enforcement. Alright, they're gonna sign a bill to ban corruption. Please give me an analysis of how that law would be enforced.
Just telling the fucking media won't do shit.
The media literally just sat there and said that Google is putting advertisements on racist content. Because of the media's coverage, ad companies have pulled their ads and YouTube has lost like $1 billion. They might go bankrupt. You are literally saying bad publicity doesn't make a difference. You are fucking delusional. Bad publicity will destroy a company in the free market. And that company would probably go under. Yeah, that's right. Under capitalism, you are actually held accountable for your actions. Unlike government, where you could fuck up, for example, you could kill an innocent person as a police officer, and the worst that'll happen to you is you'll get a 10-day vacation, and they'll move you departments. See, under capitalism, that cop would never be private security again. Their career would be ruined over that. Much the same for private courts. If a judge is corrupt, they will never be able to be a judge again a day in their life.
Oh, really? They wouldn't? How can you make sure?
Private prisons, letting someone off the hook for something serious or putting someone in jail for something trivial absolutely violates the NAP.
Some crazy fucking moron will hire them again.
And the media and the population will be just fine with that, guys.
This is so fucking obvious. People with money want corruption.
Yeah, Bill Gates wants lots of corruption. That's why he gives billions and billions of dollars to charity every single year.
And people with money have way more power in a capitalist system.
Come on! You don't know the first thing about capitalism and you think you're fit to speak on anarcho-capitalism? Okay, here. Capitalism 101. The way you get rich is by selecting a good or service that's already being provided. Then you give that good or service to the population at a cheaper price and a higher quality than your competitors. You make money off of making other people's lives better. Everybody has more power in a capitalist system because the population controls the corporations. Because capitalism lets corporations fail. Government does not.
Corruption does not violate the non-aggression principle.
No, but 99.9% of the time, actions fueled by corruption do.
If a judge is exposed as corrupt, rich people will hire that fucking judge.
And the entire population will just go right along with that and not think twice about it. Do you not understand that in a world without government, you have two things to your name? You have what you contribute to society, and you have your reputation. If your reputation is destroyed, you will not be able to contribute much to society. If you don't contribute much to society, your reputation is destroyed. You see how that works? No, what am I saying? Of course you don't.
Warlords. There is a belief that if you create an anarcho-capitalist society, gangs will rule. What's stopping them from ruling today? Oh yeah, police. And if police are privatized, and as we've seen, 2 times more effective than what police are today, I don't think warlords will be a problem. Also, because there will be less restrictions on guns, well, there will be a lot of guns around, and an armed society is a polite society.
All of those fucking deaths could be stopped if we did not let fucking crazy people own guns.
I got this one. I know how to fix the problem. Okay, let's just do everything you want to do, but let's do it as much as we could possibly do it, okay? So instead of just one background check like we take today, that actually disqualifies you from getting a gun if you have a fucking misdemeanor, which is fucking crazy, but I digress. Let's say instead of one background test, you have to take 100 background tests. And if you sneeze more than 3 times a day, you can't get a gun. If you have depression, you can't get a gun. If you've ever had a kidney stone, you can't get a gun. Also, there's a 3-year wait. Not only that, there's a magazine capacity ban. You could only have 1 bullet per gun. And everything's a pump action, even the pistols. So you got everything you want. You're banning mental illness like depression. You got more background tests, more waiting period. You got your magazine ban. Now let's see how that works out. Okay, day 2, what happens? Oh wait, all the criminals are still getting all those guns in the black market. And they're not getting these guns with 1 bullet per magazine. No, they're still getting AK-47s and AR-15s from the black market. The only difference now is that bad guys could only get guns. And good guys are limited to 1 bullet per magazine. Hell, if they could even get that. Can't you see how gun control is a fucking joke? Also, there's 320 million people in America. 320 million. Do you know how many guns we have? 500 million unregistered guns. That's more guns than men, women, and children. That's more guns than people. Do you know how many people die by guns a day? Well, the homicide rate is about 11,000 a year. So if you break that down, that comes down to like 29 a day. And that's homicides, by the way. So that includes self-defense. So the actual number is between 10 to 15 deaths every single day by guns. Now, what do you do when somebody kills somebody? If you ban the object, the killer will just use a different object. Do you understand that there's hundreds of thousands of different ways to killing people? Just banning one fucking way of killing somebody isn't going to get rid of murder, you idiot. banning guns isn't going to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. All it's going to do is take away guns from good people that will protect you from the criminals that get guns. I don't know, disarming yourself and allowing criminals to get AK-47s and AR-15s sounds like a terrible idea to me. Call me crazy. And you're probably like, oh, well, 10 murders a day by guns is too many. Again, it's not the gun that's killing people, you fucking idiot. It's the motive. If somebody wants to kill somebody, they're going to find a way to do it. Some people actually believe that if you ban guns, murderers are going to be like, oh, I guess I can't murder anymore. That's not going to happen, you idiot. And some of you will say, well, 10 murders a day is too many. In the U.S., we have a population of 320 million people. 10 murders a day is ludicrously low. Expecting less is just assuming that you could get rid of murder completely. And that's never happened in the history of ever. And it will never happen, you moron. Laws don't prevent murder, as you can clearly see. All laws can do is make things worse. So what's the solution? Being armed and ready to defend yourself. That's the only thing that's going to protect you from murderers. Calling the police is going to take 15 minutes, and all they're going to do is outline your body in chalk. Congratulations. What about the military, Mr. Dapperton? Who would control that? Military would be privatized, and there will be a couple of them, and because there's competition, they will be excellent. But you get to choose any military you want to help, you can just throw money at it. Want to hear something excellent about private militaries? They can't go to war unless you attack them first. Basically, the military will have to obey the non-aggression principle.
Everyone has to follow the non-aggression principle.
Way to show off your maturity there, buddy.
Warlords would hire private military that would allow them to violate the non-aggression principle.
Okay, just like the military is owned by our government now, it would still be owned in an ANCAP system. Owned, not for hire, you fucking dumbass.
If anyone tried to stop them, that's what the military is for. You have a fucking IQ of minus 130.
Neurologically impossible.
Having no brain has gotta be better than this shit.
Actually, that's called being dead, genius. And if your point is being dead is better, then please go bridge diving and test that theory out for yourself. I'd love to know.
I mean, it's fucking infinite! Infinite stupidity!
Mathematically impossible.
Meaning they could only act in self-defense, and that's exactly how militaries should act.
There are people being oppressed in other parts of the world. We need to help them.
If people want to help them, they can certainly do that. We do not need to help anyone. Do you know why, if the oxygen masks come down on a plane, you're supposed to adjust your own before you help your kid? It's because if you pass out, no one's there to help your kid. We shouldn't be lending a hand to anyone when we have problems right here at home that are so severe they reach the level of people having lead in their water because our government is so fucking incompetent.
We need to extend our democratic rule to the rest of the world.
Do you know what democracy is, child? It's two lions and a gazelle deciding what to have for dinner.
Oppressive governments are not gonna fucking change if you reason with them.
No, it won't. But you know what will help them? The abolition of fucking government. Good fucking lord, that was painful and cringy.
Thank you, Sketchy Hoods, for joining me. If you want to see his channel, link is in the description box. Penis.